All right, Israel, we're right back like I said we would be, giving all praise, honor, and glory to our blessed Father Yahweh, praying in the name of our beloved Lord and Savior YAHAWAHSHI. All praises due. Let's just no further ado. Let's get right back to it, okay? All right, so we're gonna jump out of here. We're gonna get right back to the video. Pick up where we left off.
So now you have the father and the son. They show up at the bride's family, and they're going to drink the wine. Remember, they brought wine, they brought the cup, betrothal cup, and they brought the bride's price, 30 shekels of silver. So here we got here's the betrothal cup. This first cup that they're going to drink from is
for any of you who are just now seeing this one, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? What is he talking about? Where is he picking up from? You got to go back and see the previous video in this installment, okay? Go see the previous video and then come back and watch this one, all right?
It's called the cup of sanctification. And who drinks? The groom and his father are going to drink, and the bride and the whole family of the bride, they're going to drink on the first cup. It's called the cup of sanctification. And here's what happens when the two families are drinking and talking, and they are agreeing by drinking this first cup, they are agreeing to be servants to one another. Our family agrees to serve your family. Remember, these are two families that are going to be getting married, the two people. But now the families are committing to each other to serve one another. Okay? There's kind of a covenant they're making between them. This would be like the blood covenant, okay? So you got the idea. They're going to drink the first cup. Now they're going to drink a second cup of wine. The second cup of wine is called the cup of dedication. So after they have the first cup, now they're going to drink the second cup. The second cup is the cup of dedication. The bride and the bride's father. Okay? And they're getting to know each other, right? They're talking, they're negotiating this union between the son and daughter. And by drinking this second cup, the cup of dedication, what happens is they're agreeing to become friends. It's the friendship cup, okay? It's a representation of the salt covenant, okay? And I'll explain the salt covenant in a moment. The salt covenant is, salt was a valuable commodity back then. Everyone carried their own bag of salt, right? So the groom's father and the bride's father, they're sitting at the table, they each pull out their bag of salt. One of them pours his salt into a bowl, the other one pours his salt into the same bowl. The salt gets mixed together, and as they're eating, and they take their bread and they dip it into the salt bowl, and I'm getting some of yours and you're getting some of mine, and when we're done eating, I'll pour half of it back into my bag and half back into your bag, but the salt crystals have intermixed. They cannot be, our families, we've declared eternal friendship, okay? Once that second cup is drunk, that's the picture there, okay? And we've become friends. Yellow is the color for friendship, right? I would, if you had to put somebody on who represented this, Abraham. Abraham was a friend of God, right? Friendship is yellow. What was is it yellow roses? Isn't it? Yellow is the sign of friendship, okay? The first cup, we've talked about the blood covenant, right? They're drinking the wine there, and they agree to be each other's servants. I would think, who would represent that one? Adam represents that first covenant. Adam was the son of God, but Adam screwed up, and now Adam has the word dam in it, blood, right? Adam is red, Adam is blood. Adam becomes a servant. He was the son, but he chose to disobey. Adam now is the servant, okay? Now we need to work our way back, because we're all human beings. We've all sinned. Once we've sinned, we're no longer we're not a son of God. We work to be servants. Then we want to be friends of God, and we want to we're not working our way to heaven. That's not what I'm saying here. Okay, but our relationship gets tighter and tighter with God. Okay, and it's steps. We start by serving, then we become friends, and that's the same thing that's happening with these families in these wedding proposal. So once they finish the first two cups, now they're going to drink the third cup. The third cup is called the cup of redemption or the cup of inheritance. This one only the bride and groom drink. And this third one represents it's the sandal covenant, okay? Remember the first one was the blood covenant, then there was the salt covenant, the friendship, and now it's the sandal covenant. And once you drink this third cup of wine, the bride and groom drink, they are now becoming heirs to each other's estate. They're not married yet. Remember, this is the first evening the families are getting together here, right?
I'm gonna pause it right here for a second. I hope you guys are following along and making the correlations between, you know, the Israelite traditions of traditional marriage and the book, the Bible, it's in its entirety. Look how it all played out. This is absolutely the Father's love story being played out. He wrote this. This is his movie, right? It's playing out. It's the great love story between him and his people, between us and YAHAWAHSHI, right? That's what's happening. Let's get a scripture. Let's get Romans chapter 8, verse 16. Romans 8 and 16. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. And if children, then heirs, heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with Hamashiach, if so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. Heirs of the Most High and joint heirs with Hamashiach. You see how that correlates? He just finished telling you what part we're in right now. We became joint heirs with him. Inside of this marriage, this ceremony, the story that's playing out, we became joint heirs with him, right? Because that's what happens in the marriage.
And once they drink the third cup, we are now heirs to one another's whatever.
This is how we become heirs to the kingdom. This is how we get in. This is how we get in. Not everybody, the elect. Let's see, this is also important to make sure we get this. Verse 17, Romans chapter 8, verse 17 again. And if children, then heirs, heirs of the Most High, and joint heirs with Hamashiach, if so be that we suffer with him. We had to suffer with him. Remember, regeneration, everybody. The elect, we already suffer with him. That's why Jacob's trouble in this time is not for us. It is not for you. If you are of the elect, it's for the 2/3 of Israel, right? Those who did not suffer with him or for him in their previous life. It is their job to do it now. They have to do it now. But we did this already. We had to suffer. We had to drink of that cup. Remember how you just heard from John talking about each have the bride and the groom have to drink the cup? Yeah, see, this is what's all playing out. The cup the Most High get, we have to both drink from the cup. The ceremony is playing out.
Okay, so the wedding is not going to take place maybe for a year from now. But in the meantime, if he happens to die, doesn't matter. She gets his inheritance. And if she happens to die, he gets her inheritance. They've drunk this third one. They are now heirs to each other's estates, even though the wedding isn't taking place until much, much later. Okay, I'm going to put Moses in this group. Okay, this is like you just said. Remember, and like I iterated earlier, we both drunk of the cup.
Right? That's why he told Peter, I have to drink of this cup that the Father gave me. I have to. He had to. It's the Most High's will being done. The Father's will has to be done. Right? It's all playing out. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah YAHAWAHSHI. All praise, glory, and honor to the Father.
You're an heir. This is good, right? Remember, it started out was a servant. I'd rather a servant of God is better than going to hell. What's better than being a servant? How about a friend? What's better than being a friend? How about an heir? You see, it's the closeness is getting tighter and tighter as these cups are being drunk. Okay, kind of cool stuff, is it not? Then, as they're drinking these cups, the families are writing what's called a ketubah. The ketubah it's a prenup, a Jewish prenup agreement, okay? And there's 5 parts to a ketubah. And they have to sit and write all this out, okay, the agreement for the marriage. And here are the 5 parts. The first part of the ketubah, it's going to be the combined family history or the family tree of the 2 parties. The second part is going to be predominantly the bride's family history and her tree. The third part is going to be predominantly the groom's family history and his family tree. The fourth section is going to be about how the bride and groom met. And the fifth section of the ketubah are the responsibilities of the bride and the groom and the families. Okay, she's going to bring this to the wedding, he's going to bring that to the marriage, and all this is ironed out and written out. Okay, today the Jews still do this. It's more of a formality. You can probably go and buy pre-done ketubahs and you fill in your name, but the ketubah is then read at the wedding ceremony for everyone to hear. This is the story. This is how we met. This is what we both agreed to. You are all witnesses to this wedding. Okay? Kind of cool how that is. Now, I told you before that this whole thing the whole Bible is a love story. God created us to be his family and to get worship. And so he himself is going to have this whole ketubah concept built into the story. Now, once you have the ketubah written, it needs to be signed by 7 different people. The bride and the groom obviously sign it. The bride's father and the groom's father sign it. 4. You need a scribe or a rabbi, someone to actually write it. As the 2 families are ironing out all the details, somebody's writing it all down. He's the scribe, or a rabbi can do that. There's 5. And you need 2 independent witnesses. Okay? So there's going to be 7 signatures required on the ketubah. By the way, once they drink the 3rd cup, legally you're married. You got it? The wedding ceremony hasn't taken place, and it may not take place. What happens usually is the groom, he's going to go off and he's going to build his house and get everything set and ready, and then he comes back unannounced, maybe a year later, and he takes his bride and goes off for the wedding. That's
wow. Did y'all hear that? Does that sound familiar? Listen to what he just said happens. Does it sound familiar? Does it? Well, let's help hammer this home just a little bit for those who didn't quite catch it. Get John chapter 14, verse 2. In my Father's house are many mansions, and if it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. Ain't that what the groom does? Isn't that what you just heard him say? Right? The groom goes off and he goes to prepare a place for his bride. That's what he said, right? That's what you heard. What does YAHAWAHSHI say here? Well, you guys, maybe you got to see it in one letter. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. Oh, wow. I can't believe I just did that. Mark chapter 13. Mark chapter 13, verse 32. But of that day and that hour knoweth no man. No, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. Take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is. This also corroborates that when he just said he goes off for time to go prepare a place, and the bride doesn't know, has no idea when he's going to be coming back. He's just going to come back and pop up. He's going to go do his thing, and then he's going to come back at a later date and pop up unannounced to come retrieve her. Wow. Y'all see how this is playing out? If you're spiritual, you should have goosebumps right now. If you know, boy, this right here, boy.
That's when the fourth cup is drunk, okay? But once you have the third cup drunk, you are legally married. Even though you're not married, you haven't had the actual ceremony, but you're considered married, okay? In fact, if you look at Genesis 19, it talked about Lot. Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law who were pledged to marry his daughters. Notice that refers to them as sons-in-law, even though they haven't married the daughters yet, but they have been pledged. They have drunk the third cup. The fourth cup is reserved for the actual wedding ceremony, okay? And the fourth cup is called the cup of praise. Who drinks it? It's the bride and the groom. Mazel tov. Where's my fourth cup? Mazel tov. That is that's going to be drunk at the wedding itself, okay? Just by the bride and groom who share that cup, okay? Now, I told you that this whole concept of marriage and ketubah, and it ties in with God, who himself is, made us to be part of his family and to be his bride, and etc. The actual first 5 books of the Bible is the Torah: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, or in Hebrew, what is it? Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, Devarim. 5 books of the Torah. Remember, I told you the ketubah has 5 parts.
Coincidence? Coincidence? I think not.
By the way, I don't know if I told you this before, but I got to tell you now because it's kind of cool. Genesis, we don't, when we say Genesis, it doesn't mean much. Exodus, I don't know what these words mean. Genesis, beginning. Exodus, leaving. Okay, I get it. Leviticus is the Levites. Numbers is because it's got a bunch of numbers in that book. Deuteronomy, I don't know what that means. In Hebrew, these words have meanings. Bereshit. Bereshit means beginning. Shemot. Shemot means, it's the plural for the word names. These are the names, Shemot. Vayikra means the Lord called out. Bamidbar, which we call numbers, because it has a lot of numbers in it, it actually means in the wilderness. Okay? Ba Midbar. Midbar is wilderness. You put a bait in front. Ba Midbar, in wilderness. And all of these words happen to be the first words of each book. How does Genesis begin? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Bereshit, bara, Elohim. Bereshit is the first word of Genesis. So that's what the Jews call the first book of the Bible, Bereshit. The second book of the Bible, which we call Exodus, if you open it up, it says, these are the names of the sons of Israel, or whatever. Okay, so these are the names. The first word in Exodus is Shemot. That's what the Jews call the second book of the Bible. Whatever the first word is of that book, whatever the first unique word is. If the first word is ah, they don't call the book ah. Don't make me come through that screen. So you got the idea. Bamidbar is in the wilderness. Debarim ends in I-M. Debar is word. Debarim, words. These are his words. That's how it begins. These are the words of God Almighty. Okay, that's how it's going to begin. And then in Deuteronomy, it's interesting. If I say Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, it just sounds like the first 5 books of the Bible. In Hebrew, if I say Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, Debarim, I've actually said 5 Hebrew words that have meanings. And what I've actually said was, in the beginning, these are the names the Lord called out in the wilderness, and these are his words. Very clever of him to kind of hide that in there. But
very clever of him, or as the Old Testament only will say, very clever of those genius as Romans, huh? Because you can't say the Romans wrote the New Testament and can't say that they didn't write the old one. And you don't make sense. You're trying to say that they gave us this entire book, but they only wrote part of the book. They inherited part of it and then left it unmolested, and then they wrote an entirely new second half of it, right? That just perfectly entangles and intermarries and commingles with the first one, right? Perfectly, like only the author, the great architect of the first one could do, right? And you guys give credit for all of this magnificence, all of the genius putting into here, all of the connections, every last one of these puzzle pieces, all the prophecies that were forecast in the Old Testament that had to come true, that came true in the New Testament. You're giving credit to the Romans. You're saying that the Most High made all these prophecies. He gave you all of these things he said that it would happen in the Old Testament, and then he didn't give you a New Testament where all of these things actually happened. There were no more writings, or people would quit writing. There was no more proof of the fulfilling of his word. Is that how he operates?
I digress. The Ketubah, this Torah, these 5 books of the Bible, first 5 books, this is God's Ketubah with man. If you read Genesis, what do you find? It is the combined family history. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, so we're introduced to God, we're introduced to man. He's chosen Abraham and Isaac and Jacob as his chosen line. Okay, it's the combined family history of God and man. What's Exodus about? Shemot. Exodus is all about the Jews. The Jews are being the bride. They're in captivity in Egypt, right? What's Leviticus about? Vayikra. Leviticus is the Levites. The Levites, they are the priestly part of the Jews, right? Yeshua, Jesus, our high priest. This is his family history, Leviticus. Then you come to the book of Numbers. What's Numbers about? It's how the bride and groom met. The Jews have now left Egypt. They're wandering for 40 years in the wilderness. And who are they wandering with? With Yahweh, who provides them with water, who provides them with safety, who provides them with food. These two are how the two are getting together for 40 years in the wilderness. And then in Debarim, Deuteronomy, these are his words. This is the responsibilities and consequences of the bride and the groom and the families. Deuteronomy ends, I call heaven and earth, not maybe the last, but I call heaven and earth to witness against you that I have set before you life and death, the blessing and the curse. Choose life in order that you may live, you and your descendants. Devarim is giving, these are the requirements I want you all to do. Okay? So this is ketubah. It's going to be on a scroll. You know a scroll, right? Scroll, scroll, scroll. You unroll it to read it. Okay? And this scroll, this ketubah, it's written on the front and the back of the scroll, rolled up and sealed. We see examples of this. If you go to Revelation 5, which I understand we're doing Revelation 2 and 3 today, which we might actually get to at some point. But Revelation 5, John is seeing, and John says, I saw in the right hand of him who sat on the throne a scroll written inside and on the back, sealed up with 7 seals. And I saw a strong angel proclaiming in a loud voice, who is worthy to open the book and break its seals? So you have this someone's holding a scroll up in heaven, and it's written on the front and the back. That's the ketubah. Who is going to be the groom? Who's going to open this ketubah? Who's worthy to open the ketubah? We see it as an example. I told you that the law, the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible.
Like, seriously. The Romans, come on, man. I mean, I can't say it enough because it still boggles my mind that you guys say this. And as you're listening to this, if any of you are out there listening right now, call yourself a law keeper, a law clinger, a law pusher, call yourself an Old Testament only Israelite. If you don't believe in the New Testament, you don't believe in there being a son of the Most High, you don't believe in YAHAWAHSHI, you got to throw out the whole book. This right here, after this, you got to throw out the whole book. You got to become an atheist. You got to become an atheist. You can't believe in any of it. You got to throw it all out. You can't part and parcel. You can't take pieces out here and there. You got to take it all or throw it all away.
This is a picture of the ketubah. When Moses went up to get the law, look at Exodus 32:15. And Moses turned and went down from the mountain. Okay, Moses is coming down with the 2 tablets of testimony in his hand. He's bringing the law down. Tablets which were written on both sides. They were written on one side and the other. This law that Moses is bringing down off the mountain, this is the agreement. People, do you agree to keep this? I will be your God. You will be my people. The whole Torah is the ketubah. You got it? Now, once they do this ketubah and they've signed the third, they've drank the third cup, right? They're now betrothed to one another. They're heirs to one another. And he's going to go off and he's going to build a house and he's going to get everything prepared for the wedding. And I told you before, he might be gone for a year preparing. What happens if she is not faithful to him? Because the idea is she has to now just kind of wait around and, you know, doing her nails, waiting, whatever. Whenever he shows up to get married, it's a surprise to her. Okay? There's a parallel here. You know, this whole concept.
Whenever he comes back, it's a surprise to her. Whenever YAHAWAHSHI comes back, it's a surprise to us. No one knows the day nor the hour, right? I go to prepare a place for you. I'm not giving you any sort of indication of when I'll be back. Just know that I'll be back for you.
New Testament of Yeshua rapturing, snatching away, harpazo in the Greek. He's going to snatch away his bride. That comes from this. This bride and groom have drank their 3 cups. He's now off preparing a place, and he's going to come back. She does not know the day or the hour that he's going to come. She has to be ready. She has to have the oil in her lamps ready for whenever he shows up.
Has to be ready with the oil in the lamps, ready for whenever he shows up, right? Ready for whenever he shows up. In Matthew chapter 25. Matthew chapter 25, verse 1. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. The foolish are you law clingers. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. They took no understanding with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, verily, I say unto you, I know you not. I know you not. Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. This all lines up. This all lines up. The Romans can't make this up.
And the idea is he's going to come unannounced. And what he does, listen to this, he picks her up and carries her away. There's a lifting and a carrying away off to the wedding ceremony. That's what the rapture is with the saint, the Christians, the church. When Yeshua comes to get his bride, we're picked up and taken away. Okay, so what happens if after they drink the third cup?
Hold on, let's not be hasty, John. I got to get this. The bride comes after being gone for a while, preparing the place. He comes back, pops up unannounced on his bride, swoops her up, and takes her away. Can we get a glimpse of that? Is there anything to lead us to believe that lines up? Revelation 11 and 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in the cloud, and their enemies beheld them. One more time. Revelation chapter 11, verse 12. And they heard, they who? The elect. And they heard the groom, the bride. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. That is the picking up and the whisking away. Sounds just like the process old John here is talking about. Amazing, right?
He's gone off to prepare the place, and she's just waiting around, maybe up to a year. If she's not faithful, what if she's out cheating on him? Because remember, I told you, they are officially married. They just like Lot's sons-in-law. They didn't drink the fourth cup. They didn't have the ceremony. But once you drink that cup of betrothal and you're heirs to each other, you're married. Okay? Except for the ceremony. If during that time she is unfaithful, he has 4 options for her. He can, A, let her pay the price of her unfaithfulness. Well, if you know what the price is for cheating, for adultery, it's being stoned to death. Remember the New Testament? The Pharisees bring the adulterous woman to Jesus, and he ended up saying, whoever is without sin, let them cast the first stone. Because it's the punishment for adultery, for cheating on your spouse, is being stoned to death. It's in the Torah. Okay? Well, that's not a very nice option, isn't it? For her, anyway. He could give her a writ of divorce, But notice it has to be an official writ. I mean, because they haven't had the ceremony, but they drank that third cup. He has to go through an official writ of divorce. 3, he could pretend the child is his. This option we have seen before. When Mary and Joseph, they were betrothed. They hadn't gone to the 4th cup yet. They hadn't had their ceremony, but Mary and Joseph, these are the parents of Yeshua, they had their ketubah, they had drank their 3rd cup, and now she ends up pregnant. She's pregnant from the Holy Spirit with,
pregnant from Joseph.
With the Messiah, Yeshua. But what is everybody thinking? Yes, it's an immaculate conception. I don't think so. And Joseph has to put up with all this, the scuttlebutt and the talk and okay. But Joseph he could pretend the child is his and not stone her, not divorce her, just accept her and go with it. And there's a 4th option. The 4th option is the husband can choose, and this is if the bride is unfaithful, he could choose to be her goel. Goel in Hebrew is the kinsman redeemer, a kinsman who is close, who will come in and will take on the responsibility of you and your baby, and he redeems you. Okay? He pays the penalty for you. This is the option that Yeshua Jesus took for us. He came to earth and he paid the price. What is the price? Death. He died for us, his bride. Beautiful picture.
Beautiful picture. Beautiful picture. He paid the price for us, Israel, for the elect. He is our kinsman redeemer, right? Because we committed adultery against the Father. We committed idolatry. Idolatry is just spiritual adultery against the Father. That's what we did. So the Father got rid of us, cast off Judah, divorced the northern kingdom Israelites, right? That's the reason why a new covenant was necessary, Old Testament only, because the Father did away with us, and according to our customs and traditions, which we received from him, a man cannot put away his wife or his wives. He cannot put them away because of adultery. She go and be with another man, and then he take her back. Cannot do it. We went off into idolatry. We went after other gods. He got rid of us. He couldn't take us back. We made our previous agreement with him, our previous covenant with him, void. Void. There is no plan of salvation without a new covenant. There is no way the Father could save us or redeem us without a new covenant. If you are stuck in that old covenant, believing there is no YAHAWAHSHI, you have to pay for your own sins. You have to redeem yourself. You have to atone for your own sins. But how can you do it? Where are you going to sacrifice? How are you going to sacrifice? You can't do it. He left you no way to atone. No way. That's supposed to be your first sign that the law is done with. The structure is gone. It's impossible for you to atone for your sins, but you believe the law is still in effect. You believe the law is still in effect and that you can still run afoul of the law, but there is no way for you to atone. Once upon a time, you had one. Now you don't have one. Does that sound right? Does that really make sense to you? It sounds crazy. You err not knowing the scriptures. You err not knowing the Father. You err not knowing our own customs and traditions, which you claim to love, which you pretend to hold fast to. You don't even know these things. You do not have the oil. You have no knowledge, no wisdom, no understanding. And your ignorance, who you are, being not of the elect, is being made manifest in this time. The Father is making it a point to reveal to you who you are, to reveal to us, the elect, who we are. He's drawing his lines. Time is short. Hope you guys were edified. Each one reach one. All right? Help a brother out. Help a sister out. Reach out to those who can be saved, those who look like they may be of the elect, who have the right spirit. You'll know them. You'll know them when you see them. Yeah, they're still following these false doctrines, but their spirit will be cooperative. Their spirit won't fight the information when you give it to them. It's going to make sense to them. Okay? But don't bang your head against the wall, because you can't make straight that which the Most High made crooked. They got to get theirs. They got to get what's due to them. Okay? Their curse is that gross darkness. Let them wallow in it. All right? Again, I pray that you guys are all edified today, as always. I pray that the Most High water the seeds that I planted, and that you guys are all increased in knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I thank him for delivering this information to me to deliver to you, because this is not circulated within our communities. This is not talked about. And it has to be. It has to be. It's too important. These are the basics that we should understand about who we are. How can you know what's what if you don't know the what of the what? Right? We got to know these details. We got to know all of these little things. This is how we put the pieces of the puzzle together. This is how we discern what's right from what's wrong. Knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times. And through the knowledge and wisdom that he's given us, is making us stable. Is making us know like we know, like we know. Right? Now that you know, you got to grow. Right? Now that you know better, you got to do better. For those of you who are not of the elect and cannot hear the voice of the shepherd, so you got the barbecue. Giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, YAHAWAHSHI. All praise is due. All praise is due. All praise is due. 3 times for the Spirit. Y'all, walk in your liberty. All right? Stay sucker free. They're every fucking where. And they're going to try to pull you out of your salvation, because they don't go in. They don't have it. Misery loves company. They want you to die with them. Separate from them and think nothing of it. Anybody that the Most High pulls you away from, call it a blessing. He has something else meant for you. He don't want you near them. He don't want you around them when they get what's coming to them. All right? Be ye set apart and give thanks to Yahweh and YAHAWAHSHI for including you, for not creating you to be a vessel fit for wrath and destruction. All right? But one fit and created for righteousness. Make every attempt to walk in righteousness. Shed the old man, put on the new one, and be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. I'll see you guys on the next video. Shalom, Israel.